Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't know when the last time this happened in Formula One, but we saw last year, we saw a couple podium sitters. I think it was Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc in Austin get disqualified. But today, George Russell, after an incredible drive, we talked about it earlier this morning. Well, in the U.S., it's in the morning. But, well, it wasn't that incredible of a drive because he has been thrown out. He has been disqualified. George Russell no longer the winner of the Belgian Grand Prix. You heard me right. That's right. I can't believe it. I can't remember the last time there was a disqualification. But oh my goodness, what a sudden twist. We have to suddenly change everything what I said this morning. Don't go back and watch my video. It's all irrelevant now. What I said about Mercedes suddenly being in this thing, well, they lose 25 points out of this. Lewis Hamilton is your new winner. Maybe one of the weirdest ways he's gotten a win, and he has 105 of them now, so that's saying something. But here's what the report actually says. So it says all this stuff, car number 63, Mercedes, blah, blah, blah. Fact, weight of car, 63, 796.5 kilograms, was below the minimum weight of the required 798 kilograms. So that is a whole 1.5 kgs. And then, of course, it breaches something. But then it says, the stewards heard from the team representative of Car 63, the FIA technical delegate, the FIA single-seater director, and the FIA single-seater technical director. Car 63 was weighed on the FIA inside and outside scales, with both scales showing the same result of 796.5 kilograms. The calibration of both sides was confirmed and witnessed by the competitor. During the hearing, the team representative confirmed that the measurement is correct and that all required procedures were performed correctly. The team also acknowledged that there was no mitigating circumstances and that it was a genuine error by the team. Wow. The stewards determined that Article 4.1 of the FIA Formula One technical regulations has been breached, and therefore the standard penalty for such an infringement needs to be applied. Competitors are reminded that they have the right to appeal certain decisions of the stewards in accordance with Article 15 of the FIA International Sporting Code and Chapter 4 of the FIA Judicial and Disciplinary Rules within the applicable time limits. Decisions of the stewards are taken independently of the FIA and are based solely on the relevant regulations, guidelines, and evidence presented. Obviously, Mercedes just straight up admitted in this report they made a mistake. There's a number of factors to how this could have happened, but a full 1.5 kilograms, that's equivalent to 3.3 pounds, by the way, for you Americans watching this. But, oh my word, a disqualification, there's a number of factors. He did a one-stop, so he burned more fuel than the guys who did a two-stop race because, you know, they went down the pit lane slower, had to do an outlap and all that stuff. But Russell did a one-stop, so there's that factor. Then he only used one set of tires for 30-something laps, so he burned off a good bit of tires. And also, they didn't do a full cool-down lap. They turned around at turn 1 and came back in the pit lane, so he didn't get a chance to get extra rubber on his tires. Now, I don't know how much of a difference that would have made, but there's a number of factors that could have impacted George Russell not having the minimum weight, from not getting to pick up rubber, only running one set, and, you know, wearing out those tires a lot, burning more fuel. I remember earlier in the race, I can't remember whose radio it was, but they were talking about the team was telling him, hey, we anticipated a safety car, but we didn't get one. We need you to lift and coast for a bit, save us some fuel so we can, you know, one, have enough fuel to get a sample and get that tested. And then also, number 2, so we can reach the minimum weight. So I can't remember who it was, but this is a big deal. But that means Lewis Hamilton is now your winner. Just like I said about George Russell now, that's Lewis Hamilton's second win of 2024. Russell instead goes from 2 wins back down to 1, 0 points on the day. Earlier in that last video, I said Mercedes is now a legit threat for the constructors. They have some ground to make up, but with how well they've been performing, you know, maybe they have a chance if they can get some more 1-2s, but now they just lost 25 whole points. That is a huge blow to them, but it's a big gain for everyone else, for McLaren, Ferrari, for Red Bull even. But Lewis Hamilton's your winner. Oscar Piastri finishes in second place, and now Charles Leclerc gets promoted to the podium. The bad luck he's been having the past few weeks, he finally gets something to go his way, but he ultimately had to wait till post-race inspection. Max Verstappen now 4th, Lando 5th, Carlos Sainz 6th, Sergio Perez 7th. 8th place, Fernando Alonso. 9th, Esteban Ocon. And Daniel Ricciardo gets promoted into the points. So major impacts, obviously, on Mercedes losing that win for Russell. They still get the win with Lewis Hamilton, but they lose 25 points. That is a huge blow to them. But everyone else gets promoted up one spot. So Daniel Ricciardo, Visa, Carbohydrate, whatever they're called, they get a point now. Alpine with Ocon gets a couple. Fernando Alonso gets 4 for Aston Martin. Sergio Perez gets a couple more. Max Verstappen gets a couple more for Red Bull to try to get some more points on their end for the constructors, but McLaren gets a few. Ferrari gets a few. Mercedes, while they still get the win, I would say that the biggest loser in this, obviously, but George Russell, after what seemed to be an incredible drive, a perfect drive, I called it an all-time drive, well, it's not going to be remembered anymore because he has been disqualified for the car being under minimum weight. While I'm editing here, Mercedes released a statement. That statement says this: "We have to take our disqualification on the chin. We have clearly made a mistake and need to ensure we learn from it. We will go away, evaluate what happened, and understand what went wrong. To lose a 1-2 is frustrating, and we can only apologize to George, who drove such a strong race. Lewis is, of course, promoted to P1. He was the fastest guy on the 2-stop and is a deserving winner. Despite the disqualification, there are many positives we can take from the weekend. We had a car that was the benchmark in today's race across 2 different strategies. Only a few months ago, that would have been inconceivable. We head into the summer break having won 3 of the past 4 races. We will look to come back after shutdown rejuvenated and with the aim of maintaining our positive trajectory." From Toto Wolff, team principal and CEO. And if you want my opinion on it, these rules are pretty straightforward. I don't question the rule book, especially when it's a hard measurement like this. I remember Coda last year when it came down to I think it was the floor plank. I think it was the same thing. I said the same thing last year. When it comes to these numbers, these post-race inspections, when it comes down to measurements, down to a millimeter, centimeter, whatever it is, yeah, there's no questioning it. There's no second guessing it. You can appeal, obviously, but when it comes down to these hard measurements, it's pretty hard to beat. So, yeah, if they broke the rules, they broke the rules. They admitted it in that report. Mercedes did, but George Russell, no longer the winner of the Belgian Grand Prix, still a 2-time race winner in his career, no longer a 3-time race winner. Lewis Hamilton wins his 105th race in Formula One. Oscar Piastri gets promoted to 2nd. Charles Leclerc now on the podium. But major breaking news in Formula One. The 2nd straight year we've seen a disqualification up at the front of the field. Not the winner last year, but it was a podium sitter. And George Russell, wow, got to be a big blow to him. As I said, big Formula One news today. Obviously a thrilling race, but now it has a little asterisk on it. Well, I guess, well, it depends on how you look at it. But as I said, I've said it multiple times. But anyways, thank you for watching this video. Any other news I will get to you. We got the championship case still coming up next in the next few hours for NASCAR. Denny Hamlin, we'll talk about that. But wow, I did not expect to be talking about this today when it came to the F1 race at Spa. Off to the summer break. What a terrible way to go to summer break for George Russell.